and gentlemen, welcome back, boys and girls. Glad you made it to a social production. We're doing it doing it on Wednesday, baby. June the 26th, 2024. If you're ready to rock and roll, wherever you're tuning in from, if it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. If you are a long-time viewer and listener to this, if you're a supporter of the show, shout out to you. It's from the get-go. You know who you are, in and around the world, doing it big, doing it small, doing it mediums, anywhere in Canada, South, United States, further down south, Mexico, South America, over there in Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, Australia, the Koreas, as per usual, Vietnam, hello, Bangkok, yes please, let's do it together. We're Alaska, Wagwan, Jamaica, of course, Caribbean island, wherever you're tuning in, I don't care where you are, as long as you're on this little planet, aka our mutual home, wherever you are. I hope you're ready to rock and roll. Let's get it going. Ladies, cup his nuts from the back if he's riding you from the top. Fellas, reverse doggy that shit right there. Insert index finger in the mouth and pop. Let's go. Everybody's off to the races. It's Wednesday. Let us begin. Let's have some fun. I hope you guys have had a wonderful. It's summertime, I think. Spring, summer. Is it summer? I don't know. I think it's summer. Officially, it's hot enough for me to say it feels like summer. So I'm gonna say it's summer. So congratulations to us getting to summer, everybody. Hope you're leaving those tits out, but I hope also you're using a lot of SPF. If you don't have any, jizz is the #1 replacement of SPF. If you are a lady and you're like, oh no, I left my SPF bottle back in the trunk of the car and it's all the way over there and I can't go get it. If you've got a fella in hand, put him to use. Fellas, you're like, what about me? Vaginal juice, same thing. SPF proof 75, added 20. 100% SPF proof if I'm not mistaken, but that's just science, that's just research. Sip, sip to the gang, let's get it started. All over the place, but also excited. It's good to be alive and kicking. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're kicking alive. I hope you're living and kicking. I hope you're kicking and screaming and doing, chasing tumbleweed in the desert. I hope you are drinking juice from a cacti. Hope you're drinking that cact juice from the cacti. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, can we get it going? Can we get a man? It's Wednesday. Ladies and gents, let's get right into it. Many of things to discuss. Let's see where we get. But let's start with this one. Perfect male specimen. Perfect male specimen. What is it? What is the most desired male specimen out there in terms of, and it's all about, again, let's go with height. Let's go with weight. Let's go with the dimensions. Perfect male. If we're talking aesthetically, of course, just if we're talking, are we, do you want it to be, do you want it to be, what are we talking about? Is it what criteria goes into a perfect male specimen? I would say this, you could do, in my opinion, as long as whatever, the package has got to be wrapped proper. It's got to be in some sort of an envelope. It could be, it could be a thin envelope. It could be, but it's got to be envelope, but it could be thick enveloped as well. It could be, it could be a thickie, it could be a thinnie, it could be the medium size. The height, it could be, I'm fine with, anything really ranging from, I'll work with millimeters. I will go all the way up to inches and feet if need be, if the package is what it is. And if you're looking for if you're like, how do I find the perfect male specimen? What are you trying to get across? First of all, like, what are we talking about? Is this like across, are we doing oceanic travel? Are we doing are we doing airtime? Are we doing flybys? Are we doing shipments via, like, what are we talking about? So you got to make sure that the package, that the specimen is fitted accordingly. Is it a local thing? How do you want your mail to be? Like, I got to get the perfect mail across town, and it's, getting it is one, obtaining it is one thing, releasing it into the wild is another, and then hoping for it to be received on the other side. It's the perfect male specimen. I say this, always start with remember to write this down. I'll say name and address of the perfect, if if you wanted to go somewhere and if you wanted to potentially come back, or at least if it were to get, if it gets, because that's what happens. There is really no perfect male specimen, as long as the package arrives, that's my, so you could do envelopes, you could do cardboard boxes, you could do, some people like to, grab that male specimen and bubble wrap it. And, cause that's, a lot of fellas, just being a fella, just innately, you bump around in a lifetime, so who could preserve a little bit, a little bit more of the brain cells? I'll say this, if it's a male, package it tightly, package it neatly. Could it be, yes, of course it could be 7 feet tall, 7 feet wide. I've seen them. Is there a perfect one? Airdrop. Some people like it when it's airdrop. Some people like some people say, no. I like mail that fits through a little, just a mailbox. That's good enough for me. If I could shove a package in it, and that's the perfect male specimen for somebody who's like, locally speaking, that is, you're like, my aunt lives all the way across. I want to send a letter, old school, perfect male specimen, just do it through the mailbox and boom, that's your perfect male specimen right there. So again, to each their own, it's in the eye of the beholder. I'll say this, it doesn't, you're like, what about weight? It could be as, it could be as light as a couple of papers. It could be as heavy as, you could go as, I've seen perfect male, 500 pounds. You could do it. There are companies that, you'll have to seek a specialist, of course, but nonetheless, if you're looking for the right male specimen for yourself, it's out there, man. All you got to remember, we can't lose certain things. So I just don't want it to be, because everything is getting electronic and you're like, man, but it's nice to have some things, I guess, in paper, but that's just me. I like to, if I see a couple of trees, I will just start, daydreaming about turning it into paper. But that's just me. I'll plant some more. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'll replace it, but at the same, I'm thinking, let's replace it, but also let's make some paper. And that's, and I like my paper from trees. So male specimen being perfect, honestly, it's hard to say what it's. You got to ask yourself what it is that you're looking for. Really, it's who's it for? What are you sending? Is it do you want to write, maybe you don't want to write a return address. You don't care about it. If you don't care about the mail getting lost out there, so I don't, that's just me. Some people like the adventure. But that's just, to each their own. Do your own research, find what's suitable for you. As long as you're happy, really, that's all that matters. So there is no one size fits all sort of perfect male. It's whatever works for you. You want to even go email, I will, I'll get down, I'll PDF some forward to, I will get in there myself. I've done it before. It feels good to do it. I honestly, come to think, I can't, electronic, maybe that's the perfect mail, maybe electronic is the come to think, it is really convenient. I'll say this, electronic, so I'll leave it up to you. Nonetheless, again, depends on the, kilobytes, gigabyte, what are we doing? So perfect, it really, what kind of software, hardware are you working with? These are all the criteria that you're gonna have to consider. There's a hair in my eye. All right, it's out now. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, let's get right into it. This is Wednesday. I said let's get right into it. Are we knee deep? Are we knee deep already? Oh, I think we're knee deep. Let's get it going. Let's get it cracking. Grab a paddle. This ship is turning around. This ship is switching gears. This ship is seeing the waves, going ahead and getting ready because it's gonna get a bumpy. Whitewater rafting, maybe. All hands on deck. Let's go, baby. It's Wednesday. Perfect temperature pussy, which is the a lot of people ask that question amongst themselves, online, offline. I've seen it at, you name it, I've seen it any place really, on a yacht, conducting a business meeting, on a family vacation, on a family, on a vacation / workation, on a leisurely vacation workation in the European Alps amongst businessmen and women. I've seen it, I've seen people doing it during sports. What have you been talking about? What is the perfect temperature pussy? I would, this goes back, this question is as old as time itself. Do you, let's begin with the basics. Some people prefer cold temp pussy. Some people like it to be iced out. Some people say the colder the puss, the better the puss. That's the, you go to the Arctic, shout out to my Alaskans. You go places, you go to Greenland. Goddamn, you go to the Scandinavian countries up north. Sometimes you talk to, talk to a lot of people who eat a lot of seafood. You know what I'm talking about? Talk about a lot of, talk about it with people who pickle a lot of seafood and eat a lot of, blubber. If blubber is involved, they will, if whale fat is involved, well, I will say this, based on my analytics, at least I could say that they might prefer cold temp puss. You know what I'm talking? Just put it on a brick of ice for a second or two. Just let it cool down. Just let it, if there's a sun, block it. If there is a fridge, leave it in the fridge. Best served cold. Some people like to go full, put it in the freezer, then serve it. Be careful not to stick, because the tongue, I've seen it happen, stick to cold puss, and it rips. You can remove it, of course, but both the puss and the tongue will be a little bit at least irritated. I'll say this. But again, if a little bit of, it's one of those, little tiny amounts of incorrect. But again, to each their own. Some say, oh, pinch my nip, pinch my clit, pinch the tip of my cock. So again, what is, some people like their toes tickled. Some people like their, whatever, blow on my asshole. Whatever you like. All I'm saying is some people like it cold. Others might argue and say, you know what, I like it hot. I like it when it's steamy. I like to actually put it in I like to sometimes just put it in the steamer. Like you go for a schwitz. Go for a quick schwitz. Just put it in the old steam room. Just put a towel over it. Let it steam. Let it get thawed out, if you will, because it just came out. Let's say from the cold, went in, thawed out. Some people like it really hot. Some people like to, some people like to actually travel to hot places. I've seen it. Some people go right in the middle of the desert because they like that desert temp puss. They like that. Some people go to the, some people will find a volcano and, and then find a nice piece of just, like they'll go out on a clear day, no skies, no clouds in the sky. They will go out there and they will, wait under the sun for a few hours for the puss to heat up. And some people like to put it on let's, go for a workout, really get that body temp hot, really get it. Let's get some cardio in, shall we? 30, 45 minutes of hot, sweaty, just get it hot. Put it in a jacuzzi after. Some people make the mistake of going in the jacuzzi, dipping in some ice bath. That's that you're cooling it down. You did all that. After, I say right after the jacuzzi, put it in the steamer, schwitz that shit right out, get in, and then that's when you probably, that is the hottest temperature I can imagine. Of course, you could zap it with a laser and then really get it hot. You could zap yourself with a laser and then zap the puss with a laser. Get both temperatures, and then that way you'd probably have the hottest puss temp experience, of course. And then there are so many different types of people. And then some people say, you know what, I'm not a cold puss kind of guy. I'm not a hot puss temp kind of, I'm somewhere in the middle. Room temp puss is my favorite. Some people might say that room temp puss, just 24 degrees, give or take a little bit of chance of precipitation, who knows, a little bit. You start out hot, gets cold, you start out cold, gets hot, but all, in the meanwhile, it's somewhere in between. Is it, can I have it during spring, fall, summer, winter, all day, every? Yes. Is it too hot? No. Is it too cold? No. Does it bother you? Not at all. It's perfect. But again, there are some people who like the extremes, but then there are, if you enjoy a nice afternoon temp puss, that is, the more the merrier. So how do you find the perfect temp puss? I would say, again, listen to your gut, listen to your partner as well, talk to each other, see how you can adjust the temperatures. If there's a dial, if there's a, if there's a knob, if there's some sort of voice command, get in touch with your equipment, really is what I'm trying to say, and have fun with it. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's a Wednesday. Let's get into some real stories in and around the world that need to be tackled together, so we can tackle these times that are the most beautiful of times, but also somewhat challenging at times. Like, let's say you're a French woman. Let's say you're a French woman and you're visiting a zoo in France, somewhere in France. And let's say you're a French woman. Let's say you're a typical classic French woman eating baguettes, drinking red wine made by your family, who is generationally stomping on grapes. There is generational gut biome bacteria from the, just from the biome, straight biomed up. You got a little winery situation. You got a couple of buckets. You got a couple of people rolled up their pants, smoking cigarettes, chomping down baguettes, eating a little bit of cheese, waiting in the sun for the cheese to go bad, and then eating some even better cheese, calling it blue cheese. You're typically, you're wearing a little sideways, little cute little hat. You're wearing a horizontal striped, black and white striped shirt. You're playing the accordion. I don't care. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll go there. Classic French woman. Enjoys being French, eating a croissant, just leaning on the Eiffel Tower, just classic French. Playing a little soccer, but then also leaving the armpit hair. Let's go, I'm for it. Leaving the leg, I'm for it. I'm for it, So these are classic, but that's just, what are we even talking about? A beautiful French woman and her family were at a local French zoo visiting local French animals. Animals that smoke cigars, that wear scarves, that read a little bit of poetry or something. You know what I'm talking? French animals. You know what I'm talking about. Just a bunch of little raccoons just chomping down on little bits of grapes and cheese and just, but that's just the French. They're chilling, they're going to the local French zoo to visit some French animals, and all of a sudden, this lady decides to, at one point in her day, in her trip, go on a little jog. And she got a little bit maybe lost, maybe, I don't know what the situation was, but it doesn't matter. She got bitten by wolves. She got bitten by French wolves, and those are some of the French, don't get me started on the French wolves. Because they will not speak English. They will just, je ne sais quoi, they will get in there, mon ami. They will fucking, right there. So I'm just saying, it's under toi, cat tank, next thing you know, right there to the jugular. So it hurts a little bit to hear this, because I say it's high time we reverse it. I'm sick and tired of hearing animals again year after year, month after month. And I'm like, you know what, first of all, do we even do this zoo shit anymore? Do we put them in zoos, or do we just put them out in the wild and say, you know what, it's animal versus a mono y animalo, or whatever an animal is in French. You know what I'm talking about. Quit babying these animals and saying, because that's what it is. You visit the animal in the zoo and they're a little bit, maybe they're running on that meth, they're running on that amphetamine, they are chomping on some bananas, maybe flicking a couple of feces. You see a couple of zebras just fucking mellowed out on a lily pad chilling by the frogs, and you're like, how did you guys become friends? It doesn't matter, long story. The point is, civil during daytime. Next thing you know, you're going for a jog, and again, jugular attack right there, scratches on the back, dude. Almost robbed her of a tit or two. I'm saying it could have been worse. I believe she's alive. Shout out to the French. But also, all I'm saying is this animal thing, this animal-human relation, the zoos thing, is it necessary? Should we have zoos? For reals, dog. You know what I mean? Because you keep them, they complain. You let them loose, they complain. What do we do with these animals? Bite a couple of them back. If you see a wolf, daytime, civil, bite a wolf. Let it be known that humans will not stand for this shit. All right, and shut it down, dude. You gotta shut it down. Let's see how you do in the wild, fam. Let's see how you do in the wild when the gates aren't up, when the pearly gates aren't when the cages are not locked. It's just mono animal. Let's do this. Let's because it's there are families, there are children out there, and you're like, these wolves are running rampant. Somebody's on a jog, maybe lost their way, maybe he's a little adventurous. Oh, let me go on this hill. Next thing you do, right there, jugular again. Attack a, I'm just saying, trying to spread the word, attack a family of wolves. If you see them, these fucks, if you don't let them get up, don't let them get there. Don't let them, maybe you see them, you pounce on them first. That's what you do. That's how you nip it in the bud. Put a collar around its neck, bring it back to them, introduce them to your dogs and let them know what's up. Or maintain things the way they are. I could go either way myself. I'm not attached to these, what I'm just saying, what's the best method? What's the best practices here? What are we doing with these animals in zoos? Let's get more use out of them. They're just sitting around, man. Pay attention. So all I'm saying is zoos, yay or nay. Personally speaking, I like them in the wild because I know you're in the wild, I'm in the wild. We're now sharing a space. This whole zoo schmoo thing. I like farms. Don't get me wrong. Animals and farms. I go well with animals and farms. Zoos in general, don't know how I feel about them. But in this case, again, I think there needs to be a human retaliation towards because this one, it's little by little, this shit, you don't nip it in the bud. Next thing you know, talking to other wolves, just, you guess what I did this morning. So all I'm saying is nip it in the bud. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, what's been going on with me? Well, I'm glad you asked. Just bunch of stuff's been going on with me, just regular, sometimes you might just be living your best life. It's a weekday, it's a weekend, which is also a weekday. It's not the end, any day of the week is really a weekday. I know the weekend is it doesn't count because but it's still part of, because we say how many days are in a week and you say 7 days, but then you're like the week ends here and then the week begins. So a little bit confused myself, but again, I'm not one of these humans that likes to go around and just feel, so I'm not going to nitpick at we're not even here to talk about the weekend and the weekday situation here, all right? 5, 2, 7, what are we talking about? It's confusing for everyone, really, but let's stay focused. All I'm saying is you could be living your best life, going for a leisurely walk, and all of a sudden you get a pro, or you're driving around. You're either going for a walk or you're driving around. Or you're leisurely driving, walking, biking, hiking, maybe you're leisurely crawling around. Maybe you are leisurely on your moped. Maybe you're leisurely on a wheelchair. Maybe you're on a wheelchair with a little cute dog on your lap, leisurely popping a wheelie, smoking a cig, weighing 337 pounds on the dot. Oxygen tank strapped to your back like a fucking champ, leisurely stroll on a good, and that's what, and to each their own, but we're all the same. You and I, we're having the similar experiences, but nonetheless, human experiences, man. That's what we're here to talk about. Maybe I'm walking, maybe I'm somewhere, it doesn't matter. Maybe I'm just, maybe I gets the shits. Maybe maybe it's one of those days where I've done a little bit of work, I've done a little bit of this, done a little bit of that. I says to myself, let's go out there, grab a little iced coffee. Black, thank you very much, extra ice. Get out there, have a couple of cigs, smoke a joint, go for a walk, enjoy yourself. Maybe one day you're like, you know what? Every once in a while, I like to splash a little bit of coffee and splash it a little bit more. Just give me that cream in there. You're like, give me a little bit of that cream. And it's okay, you might have just recently had lunch and you didn't think about it, but sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes the diarrhea or the shits, as we like to on the streets call them, they call your names. And when the shits calls your names, you gots to go. Sometimes, and you do your best. Most often, if you don't, public bathrooms, if you don't have to, you do, but if you do, you do. Pissing is all right. Pissing is, fair play, fair game. Let's go. I get it. Urination up in this bitch, but dropping the shits is a different. But when the diarrheas call, you gots to go. So I find a local bathroom and I go and I'm just, it's not sitting well for your boy. It's just coming out. It is just, I don't know if it's the combination of, the weather got to me. It was a little bit hot, just had a meal, just had some coffee with a splash of cream in there. It's just going, it's loose, things are happening. But that's not, but it's the experience. I just like to describe it to you because I found it worth, I'll say this, was it an extremely hot day? Was I sweating a little bit? Yes. Was I uncomfortable because of the whole diarrhea situation? Yes. Did I have my earbuds in my ears? Was I listening to a podcast or maybe perhaps some music? Yes, of course. Was it a hot day? Yes. Stomach stitch going, a little whirly in there. It's okay. Did one of your earbuds now just, it got loose and fell out of your ear? No, oh man, okay, so now we're counting the number of bounces that the earbuds is, not so much out loud, but in your head you see it roll on the ground and you're counting to yourself, 1, 2, 3, please slow down, 7, 8, 9, Jesus, 11, 12, let's go, okay. And now you're far away from it, but now you got to now, okay, so the earbuds are on the public bathroom floor, which is fine. And that's the thing. So now you gotta, okay, now do the shits have actually, luckily, they're finished. Now you're like, do I get up and grab the ear, or do I get up and wipe first? But you're like, you don't wanna, because again, you don't want nothing to, it's been messy. It's been a diarrhea experience. So let's wipe first. Let's get up and quickly wipe. And then grab the ear, let's grab that. Okay, first wipe. Then we'll walk over a few feet, grab the ear, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do with that bad boy in just a second. But let's get up. And as you're getting up to the hand dryer is located right next to the toilet. I didn't even notice this shit. It goes off in my face as I'm trying to, and it's blowing. So now I'm already sweating. I've already got the diarrhea. So my headphone on the ground. This thing's blowing hot air in my face. I'm trying to wipe. Hot air, sweating, diarrhea stitch subsided, but nonetheless, count how many wipes is it gonna take to, you're going through the motions. Finally, you clean yourself up, you get up, you take the few steps, pick up and this is when you just fucking suppress that shit. And so now you got a decision to make. You can't be in this bathroom forever. There are not many, this isn't your personal bathroom, which you'd be fine doing. You could eat off your personal bathroom. Well, it's just not ideal, but you do it. It doesn't matter if it happens. Meatball spaghetti on the bathroom floor of my part. I'll eat it. I don't care. But we're talking public. We're talking all sorts of people walking in and out. Beautiful people. Us, me, you. More or less the same. Us, no difference. All of us, one and the same. Just one cesspool of human. And I'm not a germaphobe by any stretch of the imagination, but there are certain, I've got my limits. I've got certain, I'm not gonna, depends what's going on in the public bathroom. Are we sucking and fucking? You know what I'm talking? Are we, what are we doing? There's a time and but I'll say this. I says, okay, ass wiped, good. Let's grab this headphone that's now bounced off the ground for like 12 times. Okay, let's blow on it, and then grab some tissue and wipe it. And then for good measure, rub it on your jeans for good measure, and then give it a couple of extra, one of these, and then pop it back in your ear, and then wash it, and then get out. And just pretend like you're just everything is normal. Just pretend and you go about, but that's when you gotta just swallow that pill and accept it and move on with your life. Don't think about the fact that you don't know now. It's a whole million of things could be going on right now. Ear AIDS, ear scurvy, who knows? Hepatitis ears, dude, you don't know. And I don't know either, but at some point you just initially swallow the pill. I don't give a fuck. Chicken, monkey pop, give it to me. It's fine, I don't care. And it's not gonna happen, but you just put it in there. And you just, all right, you go about living, do you, now and again, do you think about just getting a whole ear replaced? Just remove the innards of my ears and just do I fantasize about that? No. Do I, is the tiniest amount of fecal matter, did it potentially get on my earbud. Did it make, no, because clearly, right? So it's good, fine. I'm okay with ear aids, to be honest with you. I'll say that. And it's not gonna, because you expose yourself. I probably have ear aids already. I don't give a fuck. I don't give, you gotta expose it. And that's what I says to myself. I'm like, no, you're fine. You're good. You're good. But that's just a little bit of the shits. I hope that doesn't happen to you. Further, if I could make a note to anybody designing public bathrooms, any bathroom really, do not put the hand dryer right next to the toilet. So as people are getting up to, take care of business, they're getting hot air blown in their face. My mouth is being held wide open. That was a sick son of a bitch, whoever designed that bathroom. I'll say, I know where you're going with that. Get up, air in the mouth, blow, and next thing you know, oh, you're on a secret webcam, just being, virtually glory hole to the world. So I don't even know what you're doing out there, but whoever designed it, because I had plenty of space. It wasn't one of those tiny bathrooms, plenty of space. Pick 4 walls, any wall, put it on the ceiling, I don't care. Put it right below me a couple of feet, I don't care, anywhere, by the sink, but right by so that is a little bit of, oh man. Just get you going, but I'm not here to, I like good architecture. I like good design. I'm just saying, if you made that, you know who you are. If you made that and somebody came up with the design, you know where you put the hand dryer. Why would you do that? Why would you? Who raised you? I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm over it. To be honest with you, I'm over it. But that's just a little bit about me. I don't know where you guys are, but that's just a little bit about me. And I'll tell you, you're like, tell us more, please. Oh, glad more interesting everyday stories from the city streets, from the life that we live. So walking down the street, potentially, it could be any day, any weekday, any day of the week. And you might get approached by somebody, a beautiful crackhead might approach you and ask you for some change. And you might be the type of fella that doesn't have that much change on him. So you're like, no, I don't have any, sorry brother, I can't offer any change. And you say something along those lines, sorry man, I don't have any change. If I did, I'd get a couple of, I'm loose with the loonies and toonies every now and again. If I have it, if it's on me body, but it's not right now, so sorry about that. Then they depend. Sometimes they walk away, which is nice. Sometimes they might ask you for a cigarette, and that is also, so this time I was just having a little moment to myself in the car, in a parking lot, and a beautiful crackhead approached your boy, asked for change, didn't have any change, asked for a cigarette. I said, all right, give me a second. I will get out of the car, I'll give you a cigarette, just give me a second. I grabbed the cigarette, step out of the vehicle, and these are certain, this is not a first, this sort of thing happens, so this is, I guess, in we'll get to the moral of this story. It's a public service announcement if we could, but that'll come at the end. My point is that you get out of a vehicle to hand over this beautiful crackhead a cigarette, and there's a method that I do. I grab my cigarette, I grab one, and by the end of it, by the burning end, which is not lit already, and I hand the butt to them so that there's minimal physical touchy, because again, I love you, you're me, I'm you, we're all this, there is, we're a couple of feet apart, you are, it's okay, we are all, whatever, shit happens, I don't know your life story, you want a ciggy, you beautiful crackhead, I'm there, if I could, I got a little, and I make sure that they got the shakes, but they not got the shakes, what's going on, what kind, and sometimes you suss it out and you just step out of the situation. I'm not saying that every, beautiful crackheads are beautiful crackheads, but even I've got my, so you got to suss out a sitch real quick, but decide if you're gonna, should I stay or should I go? It's one of those quick calls you got to make. I'm just saying, relatively decent sitch right there. So, you hand this, and that's okay. So now you had, okay, good. No contact, physical contact. Because again, I'm not a germaphobe or anything, but I'm just in the car outside. I don't have the, whatever, I don't want to, because I don't know your sitch right now. It seems like, pants have been, it seems like there's maybe a doo-doo problem. It seems like it's a thing. I'm not, again, no shower, access, how you get even access. So I'm not judging or anything. I'm just in there right now. The scents are coming off. I'm receiving it, It's lovely, it's beautiful, all right? Cigarette's been handed, it's been received, great. That's the first step, because I've been through this before. I know what comes after though. I know what comes after. What comes after if somebody asks you for a cigarette? If they are not a beautiful crackhead, sometimes they might have their own, because this has happened. Some people, can I bum a cigarette? No problem. Well, you need a light. I've got my own light. So gotta go to work. When I gotta do this. Can I get a cig? Got my own light. Beautiful. Get out of my face. Love you, but get out of here. But this situation, you ask, I knew the answer to this question. It was a long shot, but I went from, do you happen to have a lighter? Beautiful crackhead. Crackhead says no. So then I'm not gonna be the guy who gives you the cigarette and doesn't light you. Now I gotta get you litty. That's my responsibility. I now gotta get you litty. So okay, no problem. All right, let's light you. But luckily, on some days the weather is just pristine. It is not a cloud in sight. Just room temp. Just sun's out, balls out, tits out. Just a beautiful, family weather. Just classic weather, and no breeze, no wind. But on this day, it was a particularly windy day in Toronto. The Greater Toronto area, particularly windy on this day. Sunny, a little cloudy, but windy. So in cases where it's no wind, you can just light a cigarette one-handed. I'm a traditionalist. I like to have the support. I like to go left hand support, right hand light. Always, just habit. Just block the wind, light it up. You're good to. But this time, so okay, I already know it's a windy day. I'm gonna have to use the blockage. He brings in his hands. So I'm like, let me give this a try. And he is, he is now. I am him and me at the same. Okay, so we're gonna do this. So right now I am lighting this. I'm attempting to light. You spark, but the wind is magnificent on the, 75 kilometers an hour at least. I don't know what's going on, but the wind is blowing. So now my hand covering is not enough. Now he brings in his hands on top of my hands. Close, really close, not touching, but also touching. Because when you're close. So hands touching, and that's fine. But the wind is still very strong. So his hands touch, and now he is being a beautiful crackhead. He starts to, as I'm lighting, and as he's got his hand covering he is bending over slowly. He's crouching. He's beginning to crouch down. He's crouching, lowering himself on top of it. It is not he keeps crouching. So now I'm crouching with him. I'm hoping that there's no more touching of the, and then there's you already know this next part. Why don't you, at this point, and he's starting to breathe heavy too. He's now breathing heavy. He's breathing heavy, hands on top of my hands, not touching, but touching. Just lowering him. I'm like, okay, why don't you just light it? Why don't you take the lighter now in your beautiful hands, and light it. All right, he takes it and heavily breathing over gets it finally, and with a couple extra, just for good, right there, hands it back, coughs and hops and skips out of the way like a beautiful bunny rabbit. And now, because I could just be like, I could say keep the lighter, but I'm not that kind of fella. Something about light. I want my lighter. Do not take my lighter. No, I'll give you my lighter. It's my lighter. I don't know. Something about lighters. It's just one of those things. Again, I like to give. Something about light. Just have it on you. And that's the thing. So I'm like, I'm not gonna be the guy that says no. I know and I want to do this to anyone, crackhead or otherwise. Use a lighter, you give it back. I don't care. You know what I'm. So it's a matter of principle at this point. I know you beautifully just touched all over. You hot and you huffed and puffed and you touched my lighter, and it's now back in my position. So now similar questions start, just popping off, and what, again, probably has not had access to proper housing in several days. Your heart goes out. smell of feces in the air. But so it's summer. So is the smell of love. So is the smell of flowers. And so get a mixture of everything. All of a sudden, what even is feces? What even is love? And it's really, it's all questions that cross our minds. I'm just saying, is you touched my, I could let it go. I could have just let. It's not a matter of money. It's not a matter of. It's just something about give my lighter. Just give my. You could take my lighter. 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 You could hop off with my lighter because you're beautiful. I'm not gonna chase you after. But you could hop, skip, and just scurry down the road with my light. I don't care. I'm not gonna daydream about digging up your dead grandpa and face fucking him. But you hold on to that lighter. I'm not even attached to the lighter. Take it. I don't care. I'm that guy. I will. So you get in the car, eventually use a wet wipe on this lighter, but still the questions of it's a whole, again, I'm not a germaphobe, but there's certain things it's the huffing and the puffing and the touching of and I like huffing and the puffing and the touching, and I get it. It's all in the game, but I'm just, it's one of those, so I'm fine. If you're, that's just a little bit backstory as to where I am in life, what I'm doing in life, and whatnot. What's going on with you guys and gals out there? Hope everybody's doing well. You're like, what's the PSA portion of this little snippet? PSA, I say every crackhead should be with a lighter at all times. That's the fucking moral of how much money does it cost to permanently attach lighters to crackheads? I don't care. Surgically, I don't care. What is it, $1.25 for the lighter? How much is the surgery? I don't know. Maybe let's not give everybody Neuralink, but some people could use a lighter on hand. Just saying. It's not much of a, we spend so much. So you're telling me we can't give crackheads hand surgery that, lighters for life? Attach a spoon for life, you know what I mean? Just a needle and a spoon and a syringe, but that's, we're not here to do philanthropy here. So yeah, could our crackheads use a couple of lighters in the pockets? Could Big sponsor them? Yeah, I think we could sponsor our crackheads with lighters so that they're not, so I'll give a cig out. It's just, we might as well now fucking spoon and fuck. You know what I mean? If you touch my lighter, we might as well do anal now. Might as well just, might as well fucking suck. Because that's, because who knows what has just transpired on this, between this. But it's not a big deal because I had wet wipes. It's not a big deal. I don't even care about it, to be honest with you. What else is going on in and around this beautiful planet, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? I will say this, I'm sick and tired of fucking goldfish. I am sick and tired of motherfucking goldfish. I'll say it right here, I'll say it right now. Sick and tired of motherfucking goldfish. Been investing in them since a young age. Coming up, maybe in my later years, I've purchased a few goldfish. I've not bought one lately, but I'm not gonna, I'll tell you. I refuse to give into this little pyramid scheme called the old goldfish. First of all, I see orange. If we're going based on just the way it looks, it's more orange fish. It's not particularly gold. There are hints of gold. There's, it glitters. Really, it should be called orange glitter fish. I'll be fine with it. Then I know what I'm getting myself. Because when I buy a goldfish, I'm like, okay, times are financially, you gotta just, for good measure, and they say that, not that I even could, but I'm just saying, should I be investing in gold? Like, I can't invest in gold, because but then they're like, don't put your money in money, or the market, buy gold and sell. I'm like, but you gotta get, so it's all, so I'm like, okay, next best thing, goldfish, yes, of course, because they produce gold. They're goldfish, that's all, they're goldfish, what do they know? They're goldfish. They don't care about anything. They're just concentrated on gold, and they don't care about anything. They don't eat, they don't think, they don't remember. gold. That's all they care about. So I'm like, all right, fine. I can afford a couple of, I'll buy a goldfish or two. Buy the goldfish, put them in a fish bowl, buy a little house, buy a little castle, buy a couple other goldfish just to get the whole, you want to stack this shit up. That's what I said to myself. If I'm doing something, we're scaling it up. Yeah. I think I'm just going to rely on one goldfish when I can have all the gold and with like 3-4 fish. You think I'm going to leave it to one fish? So I buy 3-4 fish. I put in a fish bowl again. Make sure the water situation is good. Stick my tongue in the water just to be like, is this, feces and all? I want to know. This is the best water I want their world to be perfect for producing gold. These fucks are just swimming around for 4 or 5 days. Nothing's happening. All right, goldfish. All right, I get it. You gotta go. You've been traveling, been in an aquarium of sorts. You've been amongst other fish, new environment, getting accustomed to it. But also 4 or 5 days. Okay, let's take a week. Let's take a week, see how you do on next Monday. Next Monday comes around. Hey, fish, what's going on there? Anybody produced any gold there? No. Interesting. All right, what do we do? Just go in circles, huh? Interesting. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna question the method. Maybe the work will speak for itself. Maybe it will just get produced. Maybe a week goes by, turns to 2 weeks, come back. Hey fish, what's going on? Not a peep, not a hint of gold, just these orange, glittery, yellow, glittery fish just swimming about, going in and out of the castle, jumping up, high-fiving each other, eating a little bit of food, pooping in the same water. Fish, what's going on? Not a peep. So I've had it up to here with these goldfish. All I'm saying is I think something sick is going on. I think something perverse is going on. I think something is, man, oh man. You don't put your eggs in one basket. They say that, yeah, goddamn. Oh, if that basket is called goldfish, yeah, don't put any eggs in them. Don't rely on them, because they'll say that. I thought maybe for a couple of days, yeah, they'll be swimming in the fishbowl. Next thing you know, I thought they're gonna put a hard hat on with a light on it and go out there with a hammer and a chisel and just, get a mining job at a local mine. I thought they'd be good at it. Goldfish. Why would you call them that? They have no interest in gold. Spending years with some of them, no interest in gold, not even any minerals for that matter. No rocks, nothing. Goldfish. So, disappointed? Yes. Have my eyes now been somewhat open to pulling back the curtain, fam. Doing it together. One little teeny tiny piece at a time. Goldfish my ass. Don't invest in them. They will let you down and break your heart. On the other hand, you might be wondering to yourself, what is the perfect lobster if I should find myself at a seafood restaurant? Oh, I don't know, maybe with family, maybe with friends, maybe with loved ones, maybe by myself. Maybe by myself. Maybe with family or friends or acquaintances, maybe with business partner, or maybe by myself. Or maybe with a lover, maybe on a dinner date, maybe on a lunch date, maybe on a brunch date, maybe on a sick morning breakfast at a seafood restaurant, cause that's the type of kinky fucks you are, eating seafood at breakfast. Okay, I see what you're doing, slurp, slurp. Seashells by the seashore, let's go Sally. All right, doing it. So, how to pick the perfect lobster is the question. You're at a seafood restaurant nonetheless. Best practices, I would say this, first of all, that you should find them in any seafood restaurant to be eaten. You should see some sort of a little bit of aquarium situation, maybe a little tank filled with water, maybe a large, just a pod fish, school of, they're not fish, they're are lobsters considered fish? Would you say a school of lobsters? Or are they're the species with the shells, so I don't think they count as, but they're seafood, I'll tell you this. Let's start with that. You locate them first in a fish tank of sorts, all right? Next thing you know, you look at them. You look at them, you eye them out, you see what's going on. I just try to get a vibe from the outside. But that's only gonna take you so far, because these are not watermelons. These are not, you know, cantaloupes. These are not, you can't just tap on it and be like, yes, that helps. You could hear for a, you know, what makes the best sound, to know that what's gonna, you know, what kind of sound am I looking for when I'm tapping on a lobster, to know that I'm gonna get the perfect that's a step where we don't want to jump ahead of ourselves. First things first, locate the tank that they're held in. Second, drop all your clothing items, remove your shoes. Third step, slither, just melt, slither right into the tank that's holding these lobsters. You'll notice that the water is wet. You'll notice that there is some sort of a vibe in there. There's, you know, and then you'll look around and you'll notice they're lobsters, and they've got their little claws wrapped up with elastic bands, like so. And now you're getting closer. You know, you're one step closer to finding a perfect lobster. What you want to be looking for, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is a cool, relaxed, chill, just, you know, right zen lobster. You want to go with it because that's the best kind of meat. You don't want to, and the reason why, and you'll have to listen to find out. You will have to listen carefully to the lobsters to find out which is ready to be made into a meal. And you'll listen closely. At times you might just be hearing one say, if it was not for these elastic wrappers around my claws, I would fuck you up right now. You might hear that you might see a couple of attempts at just, if these elastic bands were not holding my claw, I would tear your jugular, man. If it wasn't for these tight elastic bands, I would slice you up. I would slash your I would just give you a couple of scars. Just if it wasn't for these, but you want to listen now, you might hear that. If it wasn't for these elastic bands, I would be fisting you in this pond right now. If it wasn't for, you know, so you'll hear some of that going on amongst these lobster, and you want to avoid that talk. That's negative talk. That is not, they're not ready yet. You want to swim around in the tank, slither with your body, and listen to the ones that have come to terms with being prepared to become a meal of sorts, you know. So listen to that, pick that one up, bring it out, and that is how you find the perfect lobster. Of course, you know, you could hang around more, you could try to talk to the ones that are a little bit aggro. It'll just take some time. Again, snappy little fucks, I'll give them that, but taste very good. But the best way is to get into fish tank, and again, listen. The tapping, again, could come after, tap on the shell. If nothing comes out, you're good to go. If they start, you know, that's when you give them a couple of more weeks, they'll be ready. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's motherfucking Wednesday. Dun, 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 dun. Where can you find these videos? You can find them on Instagram, you can find them on YouTube. Subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get the full-length videos. That's right, baby. Choo, 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 pulling in, pulling out. It's that time of the month. It's the end of the month. That's the time of the month. Patreon.com/RobSadri if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show. Once again, on Instagram, Wednesdays and Fridays. Same on the YouTubes. Subscribe there, help yourself. Tell a family friend, tell a neighbor, tell a lover, tell a foe, and then turn them into a friend by watching these videos. And then check out patreon.com, once again, /RobSadri if you like to fish fiscally. All this fish talk. If you like to fiscally. If you like to fiscally, I don't care. If you want to pay me in fish, if you're in the whale industry, I will too, because I hear whale sperm is, you know, worth a lot. I hear whale fat is worth a lot. We could do, you know, we could turn that into Ethereum somehow. I don't know. If you like to talk about it, do it. If you don't, do it anyway. And yeah, Holmes, I'll be back here again on Friday. So get out of here. In the meantime, have fun. Love y'all. Peace out.